Welcome to TYT Politics Live. I'm Ryan Grimm, Washington Bureau Chief for the Huffington Post. The thing about a dumpster fire is that you would assume that at some point the thing will burn itself out. We're talking about a fire that is contained within the four walls of a little dumpster. Yet somehow the fire just down a few blocks, Pennsylvania Avenue, continues to rage. I don't know where they're getting all the material to keep throwing in there. Donald Trump's Twitter feed seems to be most of the gasoline, so we're going to talk a little bit about his Twitter feed. We're going to be talking about the news that just broke from the New York Times today, that the call was coming from inside the White House. But more on that in a moment. First, Donald Trump woke up this morning and decided that the smart move for him is going to be to attack the House Freedom Caucus again. Now, the House Freedom Caucus is this kind of rambunctious band of populist right-wingers who make up enough House Republicans that they can kill legislation, and they were ready to kill his Obamacare repeal legislation. It never got to that, and I don't even think Trump knows this, and I doubt he's watching right now, but if he is, he'll learn something. It was actually the moderate Republicans that were going to take down Obamacare repeal if it went to the floor. They needed about 215 votes for it to pass. I expect they would have had about 170. It would have been an absolute and complete rout. So what Speaker Ryan very smartly did is he pulled it off the floor and told Donald Trump, hey, it was the right-wingers. It was these crazy Freedom Caucus guys that decided that they weren't going to support your agenda, and that's why we couldn't put this thing up for a vote. And so Trump has spent the last several days going after them. Now, if he'd gone after them with just as much ferocity before the vote, they may have cowered, and they may have wound up supporting the legislation. He didn't do that. The master negotiator instead tried to put as much pressure on the Freedom Caucus as they could after the negotiations were already over. This is a brilliant deal maker.
Imply in that tweet that he would be in favor of primarying some individuals in the Freedom Caucus who oppose his agenda. Is that correct? Did I read that correctly?
I'm going to let the tweet speak for itself.
Related to this afternoon, we have news that Devin Nunes, who is the chair of the House Intelligence Committee, he told reporters that he had learned that, in fact, Obama had been spying one way or another on Trump's team. He wouldn't reveal where he had learned this information. Later, it was revealed, actually, he learned this information while he was on the White House grounds. But he insisted, actually, that it was not White House staff that had anything to do with this. We have learned today, courtesy of the New York Times, that it was, in fact, one member of the White House staff and one member of the White House kind of intelligence service.
Who was hired by Michael Flynn, started going through these documents after the president's tweet, or the wiretapping tweet. So I'm wondering if the White House thinks it's appropriate for national security officials to be conducting what's basically a political task, which is trying to find information that then validates something the president said.
Yeah, so I've read the report.
The White House is trying to explain all of this insanity while it is picking a huge fight with House Republicans. And the cherry on the top is that House Speaker Ryan, in an interview that aired this morning, said, no, in fact, there is no way that I'm working with any Democrats. Meanwhile, Sean Spicer and Donald Trump are saying, no, we're going to work with Democrats. That might be over Speaker Ryan's dead speaker body, which has been a goal of Steve Bannon the whole time. Happy to take any of your questions. You can tweet them at me at Ryan Grimm or put them in the comment section.
I have one. First of all, isn't it Paul Ryan's choice about what to bring up for a vote and what not to?
It is only Paul Ryan's choice so long as he is speaker. And he is only speaker at the pleasure of his caucus. If a majority of his caucus wants him out, then he's out. If Trump and Bannon begin signaling that they want him out, the Freedom Caucus hasn't. They helped take out Boehner. They'd be happy to take out Paul Ryan. The question is whether Trump will blame Paul Ryan for the problems that he's gotten himself into. Paul Ryan to come out and say, I don't care what Donald Trump says, I'm not working with Democrats, it is asking for a confrontation between him and the president. I think people are going to be a lot more willing to confront the president when he has an approval rating of 35%, which makes Bush post-Katrina seem popular. I think people have quite a grasp of what a 35% approval rating is. It's absolutely dismal, and it leaves you rather impotent.
Adam Tanner wants to know, is there a problem with surveillance of a team that he says colluded with Russia on the campaign?
So that's a good question. I get a lot of questions from conservative readers who say Trump is right. Obama did spy on the Trump team. And it's like, okay, well, it depends on what you mean by Obama spying. But did the U.S. government spy on Trump's team? Absolutely, yes. They certainly spied on. We know Michael Flynn because we've heard, we've read the transcript of his call with the Russian ambassador, and we understand from reports that other Trump team folks had calls that were intercepted. And we also know that the FBI was investigating them and is investigating them. So it's kind of funny to hear the argument made as an exculpatory one that says, well, they were being spied on, so that's the real story. Well, the reason they were being spied on is because they were under FBI investigation.
Who would replace Paul Ryan if he were to go down?
So it would be kind of whoever Trump or Bannon anointed. People think that it would be Kevin McCarthy, who nearly became Speaker when Boehner fell. Then there were two things happened. There were a bunch of rumors that he was having an affair with another member of the House. That caused him problems. And then secondly, he is a kind of a moron.
Everybody thought Hillary Clinton was unbeatable, right? But we put together a Benghazi special committee, a select committee. What are her numbers today? Her numbers are dropping. Why? Because she's untrustable. But no one would have known any of that had happened had we not fought and made that happen.
That's something good. I give you credit for that.
And he gets, takes his little ear thing out and gets off the air, and people are like, did you just admit that the entire purpose of this years-long investigation into the deaths of 4 Americans in Benghazi was just to reduce the approval rating of the Democratic presidential candidate? Is that really what you just said out loud on live TV? And I don't know if he smacked his forehead or not, but that's the kind of thing that he does all the time. And his conference said, we just can't have this guy being our speaker. One of the Republicans said, we need a speaker who knows how to speak. And so those two things collectively pushed him out. If they went all the way and said, you know what, we're going to basically form a new coalition, and it's going to be some moderate Democrats and Republicans teaming up, then it would be Charlie Dent. Charlie Dent thought about running last time. He's well liked. He's the head of what's called the Tuesday Group, which is about 55 moderate-ish House Republicans. The definition of moderate keeps creeping